Every American understands that every day of the week,
right,
China comes into our homes, the businesses, our government agencies, and the damage is on the order of about $1 billion a day. And then when you add to that damage, the $1 billion a day and the trade deficit in goods we face, this country is losing its strength and wealth, even as China has grown its economy.
This process may turn out to be very benign, okay? You have to take certain risks as you go in. We're taking them. We're making our case. Nothing's happened so far. We're looking at future actions. You got comment periods for another couple of months on our proposals. We'll see what, maybe China will want to come around and talk in earnest. So far it hasn't. I hope it does.
Joining us now, Stephen Moore. He's a CNN senior economics analyst, and he advised the Trump campaign on economic matters. So, Stephen, a couple of different postures there from this administration. Who are we supposed to believe, Larry Kudlow or Peter Navarro?
Well, both of them. Look, they're not that far apart. I talk to Larry almost every day. You know, he's been thrown in the middle of this. I think the one thing there's complete agreement on in the Trump White House among the entire economic team is that the current situation with China is completely untenable. I mean, Peter Navarro was exactly right there, that they are cheating, they're stealing. It's costing the American economy. We can't go forward with the current system. We need to punish China for their bad behavior, and they're going to have to make concessions. The question is, Anna, what is the best way to achieve that? Is it tariffs? Is it some other kind of penalties that we could put on China? That's, I think, what the White House is trying to figure out. But Trump cannot stand down here. He has to force China to change its behavior. I think, by the way, most Americans would agree with Donald Trump on this, that China's behavior, both militaristically with respect to our national security and with respect to the fact that they steal $350 billion of our technology every year without paying for it, that can't continue.
I hear what you're saying on China, Stephen, but you have argued alongside the president's new economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, that tariffs are really tax hikes. Do you think these tariffs undo some of the goodwill the tax cuts brought the president with voters?
They may. You know, there's no question there's a cost to tariffs. Anna, you're exactly right. And the question is that cost worth it? Now, there's no question that if you get into a tit-for-tat situation with China, the one ace in the hole that we as America have, and it's just indisputable, is that China needs access to our markets more than we need access to theirs. So this is not a situation where China can win. I don't want to see an escalation of this. Larry Kudlow doesn't want to see an escalation. Neither does Donald Trump. But China is they are going to have to start to make some real concessions with respect to the technology that they're stealing without paying. Not just technology, our drugs, our vaccines, our computer software. That's all being stolen at a record pace. And also the fact that China does not allow, Anna, access to American companies, the kind of access that we give Chinese companies to our markets. It just is not a level playing field.
But what cost is it really worth? Because these tariffs on soybeans and pork, we know they're already hitting Trump country in the Midwest. Look at some of the headlines from this week. I mean, let me read a couple to you. Minnesota has millions at stake as China targets soybean exports. Missouri, Kansas, farmers at the mercy of China and Trump as trade fight escalates. You can see some of the others there. How do you argue to voters seeing their profits shrink or their livelihoods at risk that these tariffs could pay off?
I think the point that I would make is, look, if we don't sort of stop China right now, I mean, like tomorrow, with their increasingly aggressive behavior and behavior that is just not in America's security or economic interest, it's going to get worse, not better. I just don't think Donald Trump can back down right now. You're right, Anna. This will cause. We have to probably reimburse the farmers. Now, there was a story today about how the soybean farmers and the wheat farmers have access to other markets. We don't have to sell the stuff necessarily to China. There are many other countries who want our agricultural products. But look, this isn't going to be easy, and it isn't going to be painless. I think what Donald Trump would say is we have to win now, and we can't back down. And frankly, I think most Americans, even the farmers, I think would agree with Trump's position on this.
We'll see. Stephen Moore, as always, thanks.
Thank you, Anna.